our political parties, because we're in this binary battle to the bottom, right? All binary can be is zero sum. If it's you versus somebody else, how do you win? By making them lose. So we've just lost perspective on right and wrong in favor of seeking any kind of advantage between right and left. And that's the truth. And you have to realize it and fight against it. So my role is to usually call out the game that they play. But when it's about undermining confidence in our ability to hold free and fair elections, and our elected leaders wanting to duck that conversation, the job is to not just expose that, but extirpate it from the record of what is reality. Literally pull it out, show it to you, and throw it away. And that's what this BS about Tina Peters being a political prisoner is. BS. Now you're thinking, who's Tina Peters? Fair. She's Trump's latest ploy in an attack on law and order. She was the former county clerk for Mesa County, Colorado. You remember her. She became a prominent figure in the Stop the Steal movement. She was one of the people claiming that Dominion's voting machines were compromised after the 2020 election, remember? The heart of her allegation was that there were false databases made that allowed for fake voting. She was dead wrong, and she broke the law to make her point. She was investigated, indicted, prosecuted, and found guilty. But in defiance of all the known facts, the president posted, the radical left Colorado Attorney General ignored violent crimes like rape and murder in his state, but jailed Tina Peters. This is a communist persecution by the radical left Democrats to cover up their election crimes and misdeeds in 2020. I'm hereby directing the DOJ to take all necessary action to help secure the release of this hostage. Wow. Wow. What a waste of the president's time. Just when he is seized on an issue that actually accesses all of us and focuses on the majority, reestablishing where we find our commercial opportunities, how we balance those who take and give to our economy, how the corporate class must respect and regard the working class. He's got his finger. He's right there with it. Now, he may not be handling it the right way with all these tariffs, but he's right there on an issue that can actually unite. And he's going back to this bullshit, blaming the attorney general. Why? Because he's a Democrat. But the case wasn't brought by the AG. Google it. Just Google it. The case was brought by the Mesa County District Attorney. Yeah, the AG was coordinating, but that happens all the time. It was a Republican who brought this case. Why? Because it was a no-brainer. I wonder why Trump doesn't mention that to you. You know why? Because the DA is one of his own, and he wants to make this about the other party coming after him, and Trump is willing to go there no matter what it takes. Here's the truth, okay? Peters falsely believed Dominion was manipulating election results, so she brought in an outside actor to prove it. The Republican district attorney looked at all the allegations that Peters made. Now, at the time, I was like, why are you looking into these allegations? They're obviously BS. But he did, with his team, exhaustively, all of them. And I was suspicious that he wanted them to be true, frankly. But all of the allegations were either explained away as harmless by the Republican or outright disproven in every single instance. Check it yourself. Now, if the president or anybody wanted to make the case that Peters was punished too severely, I'm here for it. Even after reading the judge's rationale for how egregious her behavior was, including how she made public very sensitive passwords that ironically could have allowed people to manipulate the balloting systems for the state, because she leaked these false findings to the MyPillow guy, and then he went public with it. So that's why the judge hammered her 9 years. Peters broke the law several times, but she got a long sentence. It put her on par with the dangerous felonies that Trump is talking about. See, there's always a thread, okay, in there. It's not like he's completely out of left field. He just mangles the bases, okay? Yeah, manslaughter and severe assault are part of this conversation because she got a sentence that is on par with those kinds of crimes, and you could argue it's too extreme. I could make that case, but that's not the case the president's making. He's playing at the BS notion that she's a political prisoner because he wants you to hate the other side. He wants you to hate the institutions of our government. Why? I don't know, but he clearly does. Peters absolutely committed the crimes she was charged with, period. But more importantly, the president is targeting this case. Why? Because he likes election deniers, okay? And that's why those who want to please Trump traffic in this tripe, and they should know better. And here's a clue to their willful ignorance, meaning they know that this is BS, but they traffic in it anyway for profit. This documentary that was written by a legit, okay, or one-time legit CBS correspondent, Lara Logan. Now, it was funded, this documentary, by the My Pillow guy. I know it's a red flag, but what's meaningful about it is that you should watch it. I did. It's an echo of the allegations that Peters makes, but it has none of the rigor that was applied by the Republican DA. How so? Logan never shows security cam footage that proves Peters' own employee is the one who accidentally created the databases. How do you accidentally create a database? Go Google it and read the investigation and you'll see. You'll hear the testimony from the person. And it wasn't some bad actor who did it. It was one of her own. Logan never interviewed the Republican district attorney who was tasked with investigating Peters' claims. Logan didn't even speak to one person who offered a counterpoint of view to anything that was alleged. So we know what it was. And we know that this isn't the first time the president has played at this, putting up people to advance a poison cause. Destroyed several members of his legal team in their careers, including his longtime friend and advisor, Rudy Giuliani. Now, why do I bring this up? If he's doing something wrong, why don't I ignore it? Because sometimes what he is playing at has to be fought against, okay? Not just to shine a light on why the president is wrong, but why he's doing other things, like pushing Ed Martin as the U.S. attorney for D.C., okay? Why? Because he's another stop the steal supplicant. So Trump and co are setting him up like Peters. Ed Martin is now also being tarred by the left for a righteous cause. All you need to know about Martin is that not only did he clearly politicize his office as an interim official with the DOJ, and he had this funky conflict where he was representing a guy as a defendant in Jan 6, then they put him in the DOJ, and he winds up signing off on removing the guy's case. There's no conflict there. I'm telling you, as a bad lawyer, okay, which was me, I would know that that's not something that you would do. But of course, he got away with it. Why? Because people only complain about lawfare when it's against them. When it works in their favor, they're fine with it, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. And Trump campaigned on it, and he's still letting his people do it. He also, Martin, clearly withheld facts from the vetting about his media appearances. Why? Well, did you know that he went on Russian propaganda TV like over 100 times? He did it for years, pushing Kremlin narratives. And did you know that he made appearances with white nationalists on their stupid podcasts? Why? Why go on Russian state TV over 150 times? Why would you not disclose that to Congress? Well, we know why you wouldn't disclose it, right? Why would you praise a neo-Nazi during his time defending January 6th defendants? Come on, this has got to matter to you. This has to be more important than siding with Trump about something that you know he's wrong about. He lost the election. You want to make the election system more secure? Great. You want to fight over voter ID and you think that's going to make it better? Great. Do it. But trafficking in this is part of what's killing us. All right? So I wanted to talk about it tonight and other things with a guy I really liked bringing on. Let me make sure his guy didn't text me with some kind of apology before I bash him. Nope. Good. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. I used to have him on. I like his folksiness. I like his hair. I like the way he discusses things and mocks certain things. Well, then he went kind of full MAGA. I don't know about that. I think that he makes a good case on a lot of things. And I think he has a real populist feel for himself. He hears that I'm talking about Peters. They pull him out. He doesn't even call me himself. He just bails, Mr. Man's Man, Mr. I'm a straight shooter, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do. Then it comes time to speak truth to power, and he bails 5 minutes before the TV show, which is very poor form. I've been in this business a really long time. And nobody does that unless they're a coward. And now, look, you can go on Newsmax and you can go on Fox and you can badmouth me. I'm giving you an opportunity to come on here and have a conversation, all right? I'm not here to smash and bash. I lay out things as plainly as possible, all right? And if you believe that the election was stolen, fine, make your case. And then let's move on to why Ed Martin is a good choice. And then let's move on to what's going on with the budget and the other things that matter to the majority. But to bail? What a punk-ass move that is, to do something like that. And it is a great indication of where we are today, that these men and women are more afraid of getting caught saying something that will offend the president than any kind of duty, any kind of morality, any kind of philosophy, any kind of principle that they want you to believe they're about. They're about nothing but fealty. And yeah, it's not just one side, but I'm talking about one side right now. And if a lefty, if a Democrat bailed on me in the same way, I would bash them the same way, because they are part of the problem. And that's what we're doing at NewsNation. I don't give a damn who likes me and who doesn't. It makes booking a lot harder, but that's Dusty and the team's problem. Most of the time, I just get to complain about who we have on the show and who we don't. And we do very well, despite me. But this you have to know about, all right? And I hope this clip gets out there and gets spread around. And I hope Kennedy has the dignity and the integrity to reach out to me to explain this. Tell me how I have it wrong. Because you bail on my show because you're too much of a coward to make a case, unless you're on Fox News getting some laugh track behind you when you're talking about these talking points. It's not what this country's supposed to be about. It's not what our confrontational process of politics is supposed to be about. It's not what we're supposed to be about. It's BS. And if we don't expose it, we don't condemn it, and we don't say we demand better, and we're going to go after the people who don't do it, it will never get anywhere but here. I have no problem with the President of the United States having any kind of opinion that he wants about what happened in the election. But when he weaponizes public officials, when he perverts and distorts facts because of some misplaced sense of personal favor, it's killing us, especially when he's so damn close to dealing with something that can redeem all of this toxicity that he created so much gratuitously. Finding a way to restore the majority to economic promise and viability in the new economy is the defining issue of this generation. Where are the jobs going to be for the next 10 years? Who's training for them? Where's the money coming from? How are we preparing people? How are we getting the people? What are the corporations going to do? Where are they going to find a balance between their interests and the interests of the people who make the money for them? That is a real issue that Trump is dancing around right now as a legitimate form of populism. Now, again, you can argue the tariffs aren't the way to do it, and he went too wrong, and it was ready, shoot, aim, and all that. Yes, fair criticism. And you saw more of it today with the Canadian PM. But that's Trump, and he won the election. And he won it in a real way, okay? And I'm not going to get away from a result, even if I don't like it, by saying it didn't happen. Because you got to deal in reality if you want to be a grown-up and you want to be part of a solution and not someone who just finds a way to exploit a problem. Look at the people who are echoing his BS about Peters. They are not to be trusted because either they're too stupid to know the facts or they are that poisonous that they're willing to ignore them to try to convince you to believe a lie. Kennedy not coming on the show tonight was a BS move. John Kennedy, not Bobby Kennedy Jr. Don't confuse them. And thankfully for Bobby, they're not related. This was an easy conversation to have. I'm not a gotcha guy, and he knows it. but he sends one of his people to bail out minutes before the show because it shows you what he's really afraid of. Losing any kind of shine from the golden throne that has become the presidency. And it's making us sick. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.